Hello, my dear students. Have you ever wondered how a tiny cell grows into a new life from the menstrual cycle that prepares the body to fertilization, implantation, and the amazing journey of pregnancy leading to birth? Every step is a miracle of biology. In this class, we will explain how life begins and develops from cycle to cradle in a simple and fascinating way. So the menstrual cycle is the periodic shedding of endometrial lining followed by its proliferation, and it is found in primate mammals like human, apes, monkeys, etc. First menstrual cycle initiation is known as menarche, that occurs just after puberty during 11 to 13 years of age, and it's a healthy reproductive phase. But menstrual cycle is ended. The last menstrual cycle is known as menopause. The time is occurs between 45 to 55 years, and its duration is valuable, that is 28 days. So, among the non-primate mammals, the Easter cycle is also found. Menstrual flow varies between 3 to 5 days. This is the uterus. This is the primary, secondary, and tertiary oocyte, and the secondary oocyte will be released out. So the image, this is the image showing the ovarian changes and the uh, uterine changes during the menstrual cycle. What happens in the ovary? From the primary follicle, secondary follicle, and tertiary follicle is produced, and just after ovulation, the tertiary follicle will be transformed into Graafian follicle. Then corpus luteum, corpus hemorrhagicum, and ultimately corpus albicans will form. Within the uterus, at the initiation of menstrual cycle, at the first 3 to 5 days, periodic menstrual phase, that is the bleeding phase, then which is followed by proliferative phase, and just after ovulation there is a cycle of 14 days known as secretory phase or luteal phase, because at that time corpus luteum is produced. But the 14 days before ovulation is known as follicular phase, as on that time ovarian follicles are developed. So ovulatory phase or the event of ovulation demarks the event of follicular phase and the luteal phase. So the image showing the menstrual flow, the follicular phase is the first 14 days, and the luteal phase is the last 14 days. In between these stages there is ovulation. So pituitary and ovarian hormone levels are showing in the image, like LH, luteinizing hormone, progesterone, estrogen, and follicle stimulating hormone. And there is the endometrial cycle. So anterior pituitary hormones are the LH hormone and FSH hormone, and the ovarian hormones are the estrogen and progesterone. There is the a peak is generated of LH and FSH just before the ovulation on the 13th day, or roughly on the 12th day. But ovarian hormones, in case of ovarian hormones, the progesterone peak is formed during the luteal phase, at the middle of the luteal phase, and there is two peak of the estrogen. One is occurs in the follicular phase, and then second one is the luteal phase. So what happens in the ovary and uterus, we are find in the image, we can find in the image. So the decrease of progesterone mainly leads to menstruation. Two times peak is found for estrogen. Dominant hormone in luteal phase is the progesterone. So from hypothalamus, GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, is produced and secreted, and it stimulates anterior pituitary. Then anterior pituitary will release two hormones, FSH and LH. FSH will act on ovarian follicle maturation, and LH acts on corpus luteum. Then ovarian follicle will again secrete estrogen hormone, will give positive feedback to the anterior pituitary, and the corpus luteum form will release both progesterone and estrogen, which further acts on anterior pituitary. Estrogen gives a negative feedback on the anterior pituitary. So on the 28 day cycle, the luteal phase, that is last 14 days, is fixed. So day of ovulation is the total number of days minus 14 day. That is 32 minus 14 is the 16. 35 minus 14 is the 19th, such as. So the duration of the menstrual cycle varies between 28, 30, 32, 35, 40, etc. Amenorrhea, that is the absence of menstruation. It can be of two types: primary menstruation and secondary menstruation. Primary amenorrhea can be found during the pregnancy, and secondary amenorrhea can be arise due to stress, hormonal imbalance, diet imbalance, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or polycystic ovarian disease in that such situation. So fertilization is the series of events which leads to syngamy. So male gamete and female gamete, same tissue, same location, they fertilize at the site of ampulla at the place of fallopian tubule or oviduct. All coitus does not lead to pregnancy. So gametogenesis is followed by insemination. Then sperms are produced. They move into copulatory canal. After 4 to 5 hours, female uterus, and it will capacitation, then activation of sperms, then it will attract towards egg and sperm ampulla. So this is species specific process. Polyspermy is avoided in that situation. So surrounding the ova there is zona pellucida. In between zona pellucida there is plasma membrane, there is nucleus, this perivitalized space, and the cortical granule. So hyaluronic acid layer is there. Sperm head can touch the plasma membrane of secondary oocyte. So meiosis 2 when completed, the metaphase promoting complex is off and anaphase promoting complex is on there. So it is initiate the process of syngamy. So what happens? The acrosome of sperm which contains sperm lysine, it has hyaluronidase enzyme CPE অর্থাৎ corona penetrating enzyme and 200 microgram lysine. Syngamy, there is a male gamete and female gamete, they will produce zygote. Diploid condition is restored. The sex of the child is determined at that stage. So when a X containing sperm and Y containing sperm will fuses with the ova, if X containing sperm meet with the ova, it will form the female child, and if the Y containing sperm meet with the ova, it will form the male child. So zygote, that is deployed in nature 2N. So after 30 hours of mitotic cleavage or mitotic cell division, which is a slow and asynchronous holoblastic cleavage, blastular stage is formed, and it is blastomeres are produced at that stage. After ultimately blastula or blastocele is formed at the blastular stage. Then an 18 to 8 to 16 cell stage or modular stage is formed, and following modular stage, the blastula or blastocyst, there is a inner cell mass, embryonic disc, embryo, that is a protoblast. So blastula will be converted into gastrula. So gastrulation is the morphogenetic movement, and embryonic germ layers are formed at the cell. So the zona hatching, so monozygotic twin can be occurred. Implantation, that is the attachment of blastocyst to endometrium layer to the decidua. 7 days after fertilization this can happen. So female, when it will get pregnant, the trophoblast layer will secrete the HCG or human chorionic gonadotropin. So you can detect the presence of HCG hormone by means of Gravindex test, which is an agglutination inhibition test performed on a urine sample to detect pregnancy. So embryonic germ layers, ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. There is three tissue layers are formed during gastrulation, and extraembryonic membranes like amnion, chorion, yolk sac, and allantois are also formed. So the embryonic germ layers are produced from the epiblast. So gestation period is 9 months, 280 plus minus 10 days. So first, second, and third trimester. The first 1 to 3 months at the first trimester, fourth, fifth, 6 months at the second trimester, and 7, 8, 9th is the third trimester. So the crucial organogenesis process when nausea occurs is teratogen, then thalidomide, and then medicine. Then first trimester, during first trimester, ovary is released estrogen and progesterone, but during second trimester and third trimester, estrogen and progesterone hormone is released from the placenta. So the placenta is the nutritive tissue, endocrine tissue also. They transport nutrients, gases, and remove waste. It's a temporary structure. They can as they are named as endocrine tissue because they secrete estrogen pregnancy progesterone hormone, HCG hormone, HPL human placental lactogen for the development of mammary gland. Relaxin is another hormone which acts on pregnant ovary plus soften pubic symphysis. So when placenta is a barrier, it does not allow mother and child to meet. So there is a fetus, there is a maternal blood. In between the maternal blood and fetus, there is a placenta. So between placenta and the fetus, there are artery and vessels which constitute the umbilical cord. So when 50% fetal blood, so what happens usually? The blood is transported in between the mother's body and fetus body is 100% fetal blood. So the IgG is the single and only antibody which can cross the placenta, and it is followed by passive immunity. Parturition. Parturition is nothing but the baby birth or delivery. When signal comes, the placenta, fully formed fetus, then uterine contraction is begin. Progesterone level is downregulated at that time, and estrogen progesterone ratio will be increases. So what happens? Dilation of the uterine structure, expulsion after delivery, 10 to 15 minutes placenta comes out. So during fetal ejection reflex, mother pituitary will release oxytocin, that is birth hormone. Then it will act on uterine contractions. Then oxytocin causes cervix dilation and it is expelled. Lactation is nothing but the breastfeeding. So the milk is formation by the hormone prolactin, and the milk is ejected with the help of the hormone oxytocin. So the first milk is released after baby birth during lactation is known as, it is yellowish and it is named as colostrum. It is IgA antibody rich, which gives passive immunity. So, to sum up, the journey from the menstrual cycle to birth shows the amazing coordination of hormones and organs in creating new life. The cycle prepares the body, fertilization begins life, implantation secures it, pregnancy nurtures it, and parturition brings a new baby into the world. Thank you, my dear students, for watching today's class. If you enjoyed learning, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more student friendly biology classes. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning. Thank you.